Last episode, this was just a space. Today, the skeleton becomes the first real room of my base. So now that we have our skeleton in of how this base hub is forming, we need to start adding the details of this thing to really tie it in together. And I'm going to start with these columns. And all these really need are just a good base to be sat on the floor with, so they're not just too plain. And the difference that this little plinth makes to the column grounding it is exactly what these need. So I'm just going to pop these on the other ones. So we've got the 4 plinths in for the columns. I want to add some lights going up here, and I've got these ochre frog lights from the shopping district, and I'm going to have them kind of spiraling around them. This is what I mean. A little something like that. I think it stops it being from just these long plain sides, and it adds a little bit of detail going up the structure. And we've got these lights in there as well, so it solves our lighting problem around here as well. Gives the columns a good amount of lighting up, because you can see it gets quite dark on there. So that really helps it. And with a top like that, it looks quite nice. And there was a small detail that I just wanted to raise. So I used a full block in this corner, but in that corner there, it's a half slab. So the reason being that if I use the slab here, and I thought this was quite important information, little details, see how my mind works. You see, you have this whole block jump down. So we're going step by slab with all of these gaps for the lights, and then there's a hard drop here. I didn't really like the look of that. But then up here, you can see we're going into a slab. So it made sense that up there was a slab and down here was a block. And I think little subtle differences like that is absolutely fine. And it adds to the little details of it all. I think these additions really make these columns feel substantial, like they're actually going to hold up the ceiling of this place really well. The simple spiral lighting that we have on the columns, I think, does enough at this point to detail them. And with building up from the ground, leading up, takes us to our next spot in this episode. The ceiling. So I've started playing with how the roof is going to connect to these columns, and I'm going to have them kind of sprouting out from the columns. So we'll have some kind of big, not arches, but doming. And I've gone with the smooth quartz still, because I really like the quartz. But I've started using these cherry logs, as I think the purple on them works really nicely with the quartz. And then it kind of links a little bit to the portal, the purple of the portal, and then we've got these purple sort of supports of the ceiling. So I'm going to kind of work out how this is going to sprout a little bit more out for this one. And then when I've got this kind of shape in place, then we can start adding these other ones. But also popping into FreeCam, we've got these ochre frog lights at the top of the column. So that's going to give us some nice accent lights as well. So it's all coming together really nicely. I just need to place some more blocks. I'm really starting to like where this base hub is going. So I've not gone much further than that because I don't want to go too far other than this column's part of the ceiling not connect up properly. So I'm probably about, well, not quite halfway across the span. And then I'm really liking how this is spreading out and how we've got these cherry logs supporting the ceiling as well, coming into the column. I'm actually really happy with how that's looking. So, try not to sound too surprised about the work I've just done. I do need to get these on the other three, and hopefully where I've mathematically placed them, the geometry of these logs will link all up. So I don't think there's any much else to say except I just need to get my my hands dirty and get building. Let's go. I think that's exactly the kind of feel that I was going for. And I really like this. I think this is a good capping to the ceiling of what we're aiming for. So it is a bit on the darker side. I do need to get some lights like that. I'll turn on the gamma up for the minute so you guys can see a little bit better. But I do like how we have these cherry logs crisscrossing across it. It breaks up the white of the smooth quartz, and you can help to see the detailing and the angle of the ceiling of how it's moving as well. And I like how they're all coming into the columns. The column is a part of the ceiling, it's a part of the floor, it's all interconnected. 100% nailed, I think. It looks great. I do need to bring the walls all the way up now, as I know where the ceiling is. I haven't connected it fully because I'm not 100% sure of how the door areas to each section will work at this point. But I can certainly raise the wall all the way up anyway. So with that, let's get on with that. So it is giving the desired effect that I wanted, which was to not distract from the columns and sort of the central of this room. So by being just this dark wall background, we do see the ceiling disappear into it, and I do actually think I like that. Like I said, it doesn't distract from the center of this room, and we can see clearly these columns, and then the portal in the middle, and then things that we'll do on the floor, which is the next thing to do now. So I'm sticking with copper for the path, and I've switched up to these grates. I'm thinking about waterlogging them. I think that might look quite nice. So I've added these stairs in, so we'll waterlog those as well. And that could be an interesting look for in here. I'm going to need a lot of water. Hold on. Now, that one's waterlogged. But if I do one over here, is that going to waterlog? Probably not. Ugh. Right, okay, so I can place the water down first and then place the grate on top. And then that will... Yeah, okay, this is gonna... I have to waterlog this whole thing first. Okay. Yeah, that does look waterlogged. Okay, so we'll stick with that idea. So with a little playing around, I've managed to get a path in that I'm actually quite happy with. So we have our cardinal directional path, and then we have our curved path leading off to the other cardinal direction, and then we also have this similar angled path for a staircase leading down to what will be the storage room area. So it just leads down to this bulk storage I've been using for when I've been mining stuff out, so it's just stone and stuff in there in a minute. But this area is going to be where my storage room is. And I think it works. I think I like it. But as it stands, I'm liking where this is all going. I'm liking the waterlogged idea here, the trenches with the stairs. Yeah, I'm liking this. So I'm going to get this copper path in around all of here, I think. Yeah. Finally, this cave feels like a room. We've got our columns in, we've got the ceiling in, we've got the walls connected all up to the ceiling, and we've got some paths in place. And I really like them. I really like the copper colour and this water. It feels like the water is like a trim on the paths, and I really like it. I think it works really well. Like the blue inside the grate just breaks it up enough that it feels good. And we've got a path down to the 2B storage area. Everything in this room is really coming together now. And I think next episode, we're going to make this room feel alive.